Let's explore common React errors and their solutions. This presentation will guide you through debugging frequent React errors and demonstrate their fixes. One of the most common errors in React involves JSX syntax. On the left, you can see an example of a common error where a closing tag is missing. Specifically, the heading 1 tag is not closed properly. This will cause React to throw an error because all tags must be properly closed. On the right, you can see the corrected code with the properly closed heading 1 tag. Always ensure that every tag you open in JSX has a corresponding closing tag, or is a self-closing tag. Another frequent mistake is directly mutating the state. In the example on the left, we are trying to update the items array by directly pushing a new item into it, and then setting the state with the same mutated array. This is incorrect because React relies on immutability to detect changes. The correct way, shown on the right, involves creating a new array with the new item added, using the spread operator, and then updating the state with this new array. This ensures React can properly detect the change and re-render the component. When rendering lists in React, each item should have a unique key prop. The code on the left is missing this key prop when mapping over an array of items to create a list. React uses these keys to identify which items have changed, are added, or are removed. The code on the right demonstrates the correct approach by adding a key prop to each list item. It's generally best to use a unique identifier from your data as the key. If no such identifier exists, you may use the array index as shown here, but be aware that this can lead to issues if the list is reordered. The useEffect hook is used to perform side effects in functional components. It's crucial to specify the dependencies array correctly. In the example on the left, the effect depends on the count state variable, but the dependency array is empty. This means the effect will only run once on mount, and won't update when count changes, leading to stale values. The corrected code on the right includes count in the dependency array, ensuring that the effect runs whenever count changes, keeping the side effect in sync with the state. Conditional rendering in React requires careful attention to falsy values. In the common error example, using items.length and end to conditionally render a list can cause unexpected behavior. When items.length is 0, 0 itself is rendered because in JavaScript, 0 is a falsy value. To avoid this, the safe rendering example shows how to explicitly check if items.length is greater than 0. This ensures that only the list is rendered when there are actual items in the array, preventing the display of unwanted falsy values. When attaching event handlers in React, it's important to pass a function reference, not a function call. In the incorrect example, handleClick is being called directly in the onClick prop. This causes the function to execute immediately when the component renders, rather than when the button is clicked. The solution is to pass the function reference handleClick to onClick. Now the function will only be executed when the button is actually clicked. Importing components correctly is essential for a React application. The example on the left demonstrates a common mistake: mixing up default and named imports. If header is exported as a named export from /components, you must use curly braces in the import statement. Similarly, if button is exported as the default export from ./button, you should not use curly braces. The corrected code on the right shows the correct import syntax for both named and default exports, ensuring that the components are imported correctly and can be used in the application. When destructuring props in a React component, it's important to handle cases where the props might be undefined. In the common error example, the component expects name and email props. If these props are not passed, name will be undefined, and attempting to call to lowercase on an undefined email will cause an error. The fixed code example shows how to use default values for the name and email props. It also uses the optional chaining operator to safely access the to lowercase function only if the email exists. This prevents errors when props are not provided, making the component more resilient. Here are some key debugging practices to keep in mind when working with React. Always close JSX tags properly. Never mutate state directly. Instead, create new objects or arrays. Add unique keys to list items when rendering lists. Include all relevant variables in your useEffect dependency arrays. Pass function references to event handlers, rather than calling the function directly. Finally, use default props and safe checks like optional chaining to handle cases where props might be undefined. Happy debugging! If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit CodeLucky.com for more such useful content.